Hello and welcome to the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. I, of course, am your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known and dressed the part of being the mayor of Christmastown. And of course, this show is brought to you by the fine folks at the Draftkings Sportsbook app. Go download the Draftkings Sportsbook app right now. I don't know why you haven't already, but go download it right now. And they have a gift for you that'll certainly put you in the holiday spirit if you aren't already, like I am, right? New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA team to win. And if that team wins, you will win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. And that's on top of whatever you bet and whatever the payout is. So go bet on the Suns, win yourselves some money. Jesse's going to be there tonight. So go do that. And speaking of which, of course, I'm joined by my vice mayor, my friend, my co-host, the one and only Thunderstick Jesse Friedman.
Apparently, I didn't get the full dress code memo.
I don't know what to tell you,
Derek.
We are twinning it on the shirt. You got the
We're
shirt
twinning
memo
on the shirt,
right?
Yeah,
but you didn't get the full suit.
Oh my gosh, there's pants
there's
too.
Pants with it, yeah. So showing off what I got going on in my.
Where did you get this, Derek?
North Pole, Jesse. What kind of
North
question
Pole.
is that?
Got
of course,
it.
you get
Got
it at
it.
the North
Okay.
Pole. I, of course, am very excited for the holiday season, obviously, and I'm excited to talk about baseball. We have some, believe it or not, we actually have some topics. We're not just going to talk about this attire all episode long, but what we are going to talk about is a little article that was put up on the CBS Sports website. Mike, you want to handle this one? Is it Axia? Is it Ashia?
Your guess is as good as mine, Derek.
My guess should never be the guess. No, I should never be in charge of the names around here. But Mike Axia, we'll go with that, has a piece up over on CBS Sports talking about what every team in MLB wants under their Christmas tree, Jesse. And to be honest, I went to this kind of with delight. I couldn't wait to see what they were going to have for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, was it going to be like those years where you asked your parents for a go-kart, fully knowing you're not going to get a go-kart? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, a go-kart costs like $600. They're not buying you a go-kart, right?
For me, it was a trampoline. I always wanted a trampoline growing up. And to be fair, a lot of my friends growing up did have trampolines. So I never thought it was this outrageous thing to ask for.
Yeah.
We had room for it in the backyard, but
Sure.
I never got my trampoline, Derek.
Right.
And I'm still it's still on my list.
I get it. I understand. We need to get you a backyard with a trampoline. That's a priority when you move down here to Phoenix. I guess mine was a go-kart. Like, that was the thing that I always wanted. I got like the lesser ones, right? I always got the ones that were like, when I was little, the Fisher Price ones, the Go Power Wheels, stuff like that, right? But I never got the gasoline powered ones, Jesse. Like the few kids that were lucky enough on my block to have, the ones that our parents were terrified we were going to drive right out onto the main street, and kill ourselves.
Right.
But that's what I wanted. I wanted to kill myself, Jesse. I wanted to do it in a go-kart. I wanted to go fast. I never got to do that. I thought this article was going to feature a present much like one of those presents, the ones that we never got. But much to my surprise, our friend, who I cannot pronounce his name properly, so I'm not even going to try anymore.
Let's call him Mike.
We'll call Mike, our buddy Mike. He wrote that the D-backs want a healthy Corbin Carroll under their tree. And that is so reasonable, Jesse. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is like when your kid asks for pajamas or something, right? Like, you're like, you want socks and underwear? That's what you want? We were going to get you that anyway, right? A healthy Corbin Carroll. And I couldn't agree more. Corbin Carroll is a very dynamic player that, again, because of his injury, we didn't really get to see him have kind of, and I don't know if you'd call it a breakout year, but just have that opportunity to probably see some time on the major league roster, or at the very least dazzle in Reno, right? Much like we saw of Alek Thomas. But unfortunately, the injury hampered that. We've talked about what he's been doing with his time, which was very productive.
Yeah,
but man, when you talk about a guy that is being compared to Starling Marte and Byron Buxton as far as dynamic power and speed, right? That's something that's very exciting to get back, right? That's something that I very much agree with, that we we kind of do have some of the things we need right here in house, but unfortunately, a lot of them are injured, or a lot of them just haven't reached that point yet of being ready to make it on the major league roster.
I'd like to add Jordan Lawler to the list. Can we add a healthy Jordan Lawler to the list? Would that be too much to ask of Santa this Christmas season? Yeah, no, I mean, this is like you said, it's practical, right? I mean, there's nothing super exciting about this in a sense, because I mean, hopefully Corbin Carroll would be healthy anyway, right? I mean, he's had quite a bit to recover at this point going into next season, but there are a few things that the Diamondbacks need moving forward as this franchise progresses. Then Corbin Carroll to thrive, and he's going to have to be healthy in order to do that, right? And hopefully, if he's able to get back on the field next year. I mean, we saw what he was doing in Hillsboro last year. I think he probably would have finished the year in Double-A. And this next season presents an opportunity for him to go back, maybe start at Hillsboro once again, reestablish himself there, and then move up the ranks to Amarillo. And like you said, maybe we even see him in Reno, like we did Alek Thomas. This is a kid where the sky is really the limit. And Starling Marte and Byron Buxton, I mean, those are some pretty lofty comps, but I think they're fairly well founded. I don't know if Corbin Carroll quite has the power that Byron Buxton does. But I mean, Byron Buxton is also not necessarily a huge guy in his own right. So there's some exciting tools here, Derek, and moving forward, the Diamondbacks, if they are going to be good at some point in the next few years, I'm willing to bet it's because Corbin Carroll panned out the way that they're hoping he will.
Well said. And the other thing that's exciting to think about is Christian Robinson has gotten over his legal issues. And again, he is another guy that at one point people talked about what an exciting, dynamic player he is.
The dream. It's the dream, Derek. It's Corbin Carroll in center. It's Alek Thomas in left. And it's Christian Robinson in right field. If that ever happens, we will all be just in utter baseball paradise.
Here it is, Jesse. Right
there
here.
There it is. Oh my gosh.
That is it right there. And absolutely, man, that is the outfield prospects. That's the list, man. Those are the three guys. This is the future of this team. And who knows if we'll ever see all three of them play on the major league roster at the same time. Who knows if any of them will reach the potential that was seen in them at one point on this team, right? Because that's something, unfortunately, that is very on brand for the Arizona Diamondbacks, is losing out on those guys or having them move on before they reach that full potential. Unfortunately, those are three guys I see nothing but like all three of them becoming great players,
Yeah.
And I mean, that's it, looking at them individually, right? But the thought of them being together on the field at the same time, and potentially
could be wild.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it reminds me of the Astros, right? Because the Astros had this period of time where everybody was talking about these young players on their team that I knew nothing about, right? But they were basically like kind of warning people, like, hey man, the Astros are basically stockpiling like badass prospects, and you should really watch out for them. That worked out for them. Right. And there, like I said before on other podcasts that we've done, there's odd similarities to that team, to this team, right? There's odd similarities to that entire situation with Brent Strom coming on while those prospects were coming up, his effect on them, the way that they blossomed under him, the way that the rest of the team blossomed for the Astros and all became superstars. Right. So, and our buddy Brett Johnson, card collector extraordinaire, he says, I've purchased so many Corbin Carroll, Alek Thomas, Christian Robinson, and Jordan Lawler cards. Hey man, that's an investment in your future.
They could be worth something someday.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's very exciting. It's very exciting to see, and it's very exciting to think about. It's something that if you, as a D-backs fan, want some positivity, want some hope for the future.
That's the real gift. Like, that's the real Christmas wish, right? And it might not be a Christmas wish for 2022. Maybe it's 2023.
Yeah.
But if there ever comes a day, Derek, when Alek Thomas, Corbin Carroll, and Christian Robinson share the same outfield at Chase Field, look out, world. Because I mean, I think Alek Thomas and Corbin Carroll are at a point where pretty much everyone feels pretty darn confident about their futures. Christian Robinson, in some ways, obviously with everything he's been through, he's, he needs to reestablish himself a little bit. And even what we saw,
I agree with that.
Yeah, and even what we saw from a baseball standpoint, toward the end of his last season that we actually got to see him play, there were some issues here and there. He has a lot of raw power, tons of raw power to tap into. But at times, a lot of people have pointed out that Christian Robinson can be a little bit prone to the strikeout. There's a lot of swing and miss in his game. So I think he still has a ways to go in terms of his development and reestablishing, this monstrous prospect that people have seen coming up through the system over the last few years. But I mean, I don't think it'll take much. I mean, if Christian Robinson can come back out next year, and, we'll see where the team wants to start him out. But just the fact that he's ahead of all of these legal issues, hopefully, and that's now behind him. I mean, that is a Christmas gift in its own right, because that is something that we didn't necessarily know if that was going to happen or not.
And it could have been one of the biggest losses to this organization as far as a talent that not just to this organization, but to baseball, for somebody like that to not be able to overcome those legal issues.
And he's from the Bahamas. I mean, he came over as like a 17-year-old kid, something like just a crazy story too. And you would hate to see a story like that, turn south in the way that it looked like his might. But it looks like things are trending upwards for him. And when I met him a couple years ago down in Kane County, just one of the friendliest, just most genuine, down to earth people that I've met. So wish nothing but the best for Christian Robinson, and looking forward to seeing him rake again in 2022.
There you go. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys rake on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Go over there, download that app, use our code of PHNX, and once again, for simply betting $5 on any NBA team to win their game.
So could I bet on the game that I go to tonight, Derek? Could I bet $5?
Jesse, bet $5 on any NBA team to win. And I believe they are 15-point favorites tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
You will win $150 in free bets. Should you be victorious.
I want to know what the Christmas Day game is against the Warriors, because I bet that one's a little more.
That one's going to be interesting. I would suggest staying away from that one if you want a sure thing. But go against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And remember, all DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get in the Christmas spirit with the free holiday bet surprise. Everyone gets a free bet up to $50. I got mine. It was $20. I was very thrilled. I used it and lost, sadly. But at least there was no actual money that came out of my pocket with that. And the same thing can happen for you, because DraftKings is giving away up to $10 million in prizes. Not to mention, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever you want. And remember, that code again, Jesse, for you at the game tonight, is code PHNX, and that will get you $150 in free bets to bet on any $5 on any NBA team to win. And should they win, you will get your payout, and you will get $150, in free bets. 21 and over only, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Dial 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And Jesse, of course, it's the Christmas season. It's the giving season. And what would this time of year be without litigation, without lawsuits? Because now what we have, Jesse, is 4 minor league teams that have lost their big league affiliations prior to the 2021 season. Those 4 teams being the Staten Island Yankees, the Tri-City Valley Cats, the Norwich Sea Unicorns, great name, by the way, the Norwich Sea Unicorns, and the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes. There are, volcanoes? They filed a suit Monday in U.S. District Court in Manhattan, accusing MLB and the Baseball Commissioner's Office of violating the Sherman Anti-Trust Act. And the suit basically alleged that MLB made decisions on which teams to retain minor league teams based on whether they were owned by parent clubs, which is the case with these 4 teams. They're all owned by parent companies, or versus ones that had political ownership, citing the Ohio government Mike DeWine's interest in the North Carolina Class A Asheville Tourists. There is a baseball team named the Asheville tourists, Jesse, along to go with the Salem Kaiser volcanoes. But what do you think about all this? 4 minor league teams obviously filing big lawsuits against MLB for pulling this affiliation. And to be honest, this whole thing is crazy to me considering how often it changes anyway. But I can also understand what a huge loss this would be to any team to no longer be a minor league affiliate.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams, that's really their value, right? I mean, if you're an affiliate of a major league team, that's kind of, I mean, that's a very big part of your identity as a baseball team.
Let me ask you this, just curious: are there minor league teams that have no affiliation with major league clubs? Are there minor league teams that just play baseball just for the sake of existing?
I mean, they wouldn't be called minor leagues at that point.
Okay, so they would be in some sort of other league, right?
There's independent league baseball, which has been a big thing for a while. Well, not a big thing, I guess I should say. And that's sort of the problem, is that if you're an independent league team, it's a little bit harder to get by because you don't have major league caliber players coming through your system. Independent league teams tend to be teams with guys who are, kind of journeymen, maybe once in a while they'll find their way up to the majors. That's where David Peralta came from. Actually, he played on an independent league team, but those stories are very rare of players on those teams that actually break it into the majors. So,
kind of like Merrill Kelly with his situation with playing in Korea and kind of coming over, which isn't as rare, but still a rare situation as far as the path he took to the majors, much like you're saying about Peralta's path.
Yeah. The independent leagues are probably even further away from the major league quality of play. So it's pretty tough to find that level of talent there. So I think this is something that's fairly well documented, just that there was a negative reaction across a lot of different teams around the league and really a lot of just baseball fans in general. Because baseball made a really big move. They cut down, I think you mentioned, from 160 down to 120 teams.
Correct.
Which is that's a 25% cut, right? I mean, that's a very significant cut. Pretty much every team across baseball lost one or maybe even more of their minor league affiliates. The Diamondbacks lost Kane County. They no longer have that short season A affiliate that they used to have. So,
So they have less teams now. The D-backs have less minor league teams in their system than they used to a couple of years ago. Yeah.
It's a little strange. I mean, it's kind of weird that after all this time, Major League Baseball teams have had around the same number of minor league affiliates for quite a while, at least to my knowledge. And suddenly all the teams were like, hey, we actually don't need this. Let's all drop one or two of our minor league teams. And somehow that was just fine and okay. Right. And I think there's minor league baseball in a lot of ways is just a very big part of a lot of small cities across the United States, right? Minor league baseball for a lot of those cities is kind of, I don't want to say the one thing they have going for them, but if you visited a lot of towns that have minor league baseball, there's not necessarily a whole lot else to do. And so for those local economies, there's a lot of them rely on that.
Yeah. Like when I lived in Syracuse for a while, and the entire city of Syracuse is based around the university. Right. But we had the Sky Chiefs, right? And the Sky Chiefs, when I was there, it was the first time kind of like as an adult that I lived in a town where we had, only a minor league team as our team, and they were pretty big. I mean, people wore the merch, they went to games. It's kind of like you said, outside of going to Syracuse University games, college basketball, football, that kind of stuff, there wasn't anything else. Concerts, an awesome blues bar, the Dinosaur. But aside from that, there wasn't a lot to do. So I'm with you on some of those towns where that's their primary source of going out to a local sporting event.
Yeah, it's big. It's big for a lot of these places. And And yeah, so this is something that got a very negative reaction from a lot of people a few months ago when the news first came out, and now there's a lawsuit to follow up with that, because it seems like the way that Major League Baseball determined which teams they were going to keep and which teams they were going to throw out wasn't necessarily determined in a very fair way. And so that's where this comes from, as far as I can tell. So
Yeah.
I don't really have much of a reading, honestly, on if there's a valid case to be made here, if this is a lawsuit that is going to be successful, or what the outcome is going to be. But I guess we'll just sit back and find out.
Sometimes it makes sense, but then there's, like you said, there's complicated contractual things involved.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like, here in the state of Arizona, it's a right to work state. So people can fire you for any reason, and like, I don't know, sometimes I have friends in other states that like have entirely different perspectives.
What does that mean? Like, people can fire you for any reason? As
they
in,
they
like,
don't
is that
have,
not the case in other states? In other states,
some states you actually have to have a reason to terminate someone, whether it's a layoff because of like, you have to determine a reason. But here in the state, in Arizona, they don't even have to give you a reason. Like, they do, because it's the nice thing to do, I suppose. It's a respectable thing to do. Just like giving 2 weeks notice or anything else, right? It's just trying to fulfill your obligation and let the other person know that there were reasons for termination. I think that, in today's climate, people aren't necessarily terminating people for no reason, right? But they technically can, right? And the whole idea there isn't whether or not, basically it's that you can't turn around and sue them for it. That's basically what it is, right?
Right.
Now, the Sherman Anti-Trust Act, it was the first federal act that outlawed monopolies, like monopolistic business practices, right? So it basically is the rule of free competition among those engaged in commerce. And that's the reason why that they feel like they violated this Antitrust Act, is they feel like they are not they are not, allowing it to be a free competition. They feel like politics and other factors are contributing here. Plus, it sounds like they feel like they specifically went after I don't know how many minor league teams are owned by parent companies, but it sounds like they kind of specifically went after teams with parent companies to get rid of them. And I don't know the reason behind that, but at the same time too, like I said, I can also understand, as we just discussed, a team not just letting it go. You know what I mean? Like, or that's such a substantial change to that organization, to that franchise, for them to go from being a minor league team to being essentially, like you said, an independent league ball team at that club, or a ball club at that point. And God, I can only imagine. I can only imagine how upset you would be about it. Obviously upset enough to join together with a couple of other teams and get this lawsuit against MLB. I'm just glad that there's so much good during this holiday season.
It really
when it comes to MLB.
Yeah.
It's just one good thing after the next. And you guys can keep up to date on all of that over at gophnx.com. Obviously, we're trying our best to keep you guys up to date on this lockout situation, but it's not the only thing you can get on gophnx.com. Our buddy Gerald has been doing some awesome coverage of the Suns. Obviously, Craig Morgan is all over this situation with NHL and the current stoppage due to the Omicron variant. So sign up to become a member. You can get an annual membership. Get yourself a free t-shirt over at phnxlocker.com. Go order it now. That way, when it comes, maybe it comes for Three Kings Day. That's something we celebrate in Puerto Rico. I'm trying to get everybody on that tradition next. Fill up your shoe boxes with grass and leave it out for the camels. But you know what? Go sign up and become a member either. And if you don't want that annual membership option, sign up for the month-to-month option, and you'll get your first month for just 50 cents. Celebrate the holidays with us in our members-only Discord, and jump over to the PHNX Locker, and you'll get members-only discounts all year long. So sign up to become a member of our family this holiday season, and maybe we'll get you in on the white elephant presents or something before they're all given out. We'll see
what day is Three Kings Day?
January 7th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's actually a big holiday in Puerto Rico. It's actually one thing that I've always celebrated since I was a kid. That was kind of like the weird offbeat thing that none of my friends celebrated, right? but
Hmm.
it kind of tied into, Jesus's birthday and everything that's Christmas, right?
Sure.
The idea was the wise men are going back home, and it's a long trip, and they've been through a lot. So you leave some water out for the camels, and you leave some grass out for the camels, and in turn, the appreciative kings will leave you some gifts in your shoebox on their journey
Interesting.
back home, right? So
Huh.
that for me has been, like I said, it's a tradition. It's fun, and it's something. It's kind of like the coquito, right? I mean, it's just coconut eggnog, but I really enjoy the fact that my friends here in Arizona have embraced it, and some of them make it. And I mean, I don't know, it's that, I think that's just why I love this time of the year. It's kind of a celebration of all of our accomplishments. I basically start celebrating New Year now, and I feel like everybody should. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot over the last 2 years. We've made it this far. God
Yeah.
bless that we've made it this far. And I think we all deserve to celebrate a little bit, considering how hard the past 2 years have been. But, I wanted to ask you, Jesse, now as a grown adult, what
I love how you say now,
now?
like as if like I just barely crossed that line.
You went to an open bar wedding, so now you're a man. No, I mean, I think it's kind of funny because sometimes as an adult, I don't know like what I'm into as gifts anymore. You know what I mean? Like on one hand, I truly don't care. I think I've reached that point in my life where I truly don't care, but I find myself still being, I think because of growing up the way we did, growing up, especially me during the 80s when toys, like actual like action figures and cars and all that stuff was so big, like still getting toys as an adult is very enjoyable for me, Jesse. as an early Christmas present, I was given a Transformer. And let me tell you how excited I was that someone gave me this Transformer. It's J Balvatron. It's J Balvin, the rapper, Colombian rapper, as Soundwave from Transformers. And I'm not leaving this in the box, Jesse. I'm opening this up and I'm playing with it. I'm telling you.
You do that. You do that.
But I mean, it's funny because I get a lot of things that have they're expensive. They're very useful. Jackets, barbecue equipment, all of that. It's all great. It's all nice.
Sure.
But get me a pop of one of my favorite cartoon characters. Through the roof, Jesse.
So
Doesn't take much to impress me.
You're making me nervous because I spent the entire afternoon shopping for you for Christmas.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
Now I don't know if what I got you is going to cut it.
What? This is nuts. But I also know that you are a simple human being. You do not really.
I am kind of a simple.
You're not like so. What does it for you still to this day? Do you still get excited about anything that you get as a gift?
I get excited about stuff. I feel like electronics are kind of like the, like if I get like a phone or, like one of those big things, then that's always kind of important. Other than that though, I'm kind of a boring adult. You're a more exciting gift asker than I am now because I don't really put Transformers on my list anymore.
No,
so.
You can't. As an adult, you can't put Transformers on your list. But and I'm not. You think I'm ashamed of that? Somebody bought me that because they knew I would like it, and they were right, Jesse. I didn't have to put that on a list. They were just like, I'm gonna get this for this guy. But I know it's difficult because I know a lot of people as adults we get kind of wrapped up in, especially like with me as a dad. It's about the kid. It's about other people, and so I really feel like that's part of it. Is as cheesy as it sounds, I get so much more joy now from watching people open the presents I give them than getting anything myself. I kind of feel a little embarrassed sometimes when people get me gifts, especially when they get me like really good gifts. I'm like, oh my God, like why? I don't deserve this.
It was near the top of my Christmas list this year, Derek. So, I mean, this isn't an issue right now because I have this beautiful red wall and this lovely guitar right next to me here.
Please tell me it was decorations for the back of your...
It was decorations.
Yes!
For my plain ass white wall that you give me crap about.
It's the white void.
Home. Yeah. So hopefully once Christmas passes, once
Christmas comes,
I head back to Washington,
I know for a fact.
I might have some decorations.
I know for a fact you will.
So.
I know for a fact you will. So that's
Okay.
something. That's a Christmas miracle that we're going to make happen. But before we go, I want to give everybody our DraftKings pick of the week. By the way, my pick of the week is Omnicron covering the spread this holiday season over all sports. Unfortunately, it's all,
oh my gosh,
it already covered the spread against the NHL. So
the NBA is getting rough too.
Oh,
There's a lot of the Suns are like one of the only teams that hasn't had a big issue yet. So fingers crossed on that front.
I'm on such a I'm on so many different like I at one time I'm being cautious and I understand being cautious. As other times I'm saying stupid things about it being a cold. I don't know where I land on this, right? I know that I've heard enough stories from people in the medical field about the difference in getting this when you're vaccinated versus not vaccinated. And I implore everybody to check out that, because I hope that that's enough to make you be safe. And hopefully, everybody can do their best to try to kick this thing. I know we might be going back into masks and limited capacity on events and things like that, but we got to do everything we can. And unfortunately, sports will be affected by this. There's no stopping that. It's just the biggest indoor crowded events are always going to be sports. So it's always going to be impacted by a pandemic that's currently going on. But enough of that I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give Omicron
Christmas cheer.
Yeah, I didn't mean for them to be covered. I didn't mean for a virus to be covering the spread. But I am picking the LA Chargers to cover by 10 points over the Texans at -110. I'm also taking the over on the 46 points because I think they will both score a whole lot of points. I'm sure the Chargers will just score more. And look, I know you guys are like, yeah, Derek, you said that last time. And trust me, yeah, I know. But Chargers race to 10. I'm taking that. So if you want to cover that over a 3-leg parlay, do that over on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You might even be able to get some sort of, I don't know, pandemic like parlay special in there. Maybe you can see who's actually going to be in the game and who's not. I don't know. But at DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can combine multiple bets for multiple legs and for a bigger payout over on the DraftKings Sportsbook, and use that code again of PHNX, and you will get $150 in free bets for betting $5 or more on any NBA team to win should they win their game. Also, over on PHNX, sign up at gophnx.com for annual membership, month-to-month membership, whatever it fits your needs. We just want you to come over and be a member of our family this holiday season. But we thank you so much for joining us. And when we say that, we mean that because I know we're getting close to the end of the year. And this has been a crazy, wild 3 months for Jesse and I doing the show, being a part of this company, being a part of Go PHNX. And we have loved every minute of it. We hope you guys have too. We hope you enjoy the content we're putting out. This is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We got so much more.
Imagine when we have baseball.
Imagine when we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, look at these suits. These suits are only going to get better as time goes on. But we appreciate you guys so much. We hope you have a very happy holiday season. Have a safe holiday season. Enjoy the time with your family. Like I said, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Remember that. And on behalf of Jesse and myself, we thank you so much for listening to the show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. The show is at PHNX_DBacks. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, if you're listening right now on your favorite audio podcasting app, subscribe to us there and leave us a 5-star review. That's all we want for the holidays is a 5-star review from you. And then go over to YouTube, subscribe there as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification button, and then go over to your favorite podcasting app and subscribe there. That way you don't miss any of this. We'll be back. We're going to take some time off for this weekend. We're going to take Friday off. It's Christmas Eve. We're going to drink a lot of coquito. Well, at least I am. I'm going to try to get Jesse drunk on coquito. We'll see what happens. He's here in Phoenix. But hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas. Hope you have a very, very happy holiday. And remember, kids, baseball is fun. But, man, let me tell you, it's so much fun, more fun when we get back to playing baseball.